Hi, everyone. We're ready for chapter 4 of My Life as Alien Monster Bait, and the chapter is called Death of a Dorkoid. It didn't take much talking to convince Dad to let me stay in the movie. The guy was as excited about it as I was. So we hung around and worked things out with the director. You know, the little details like money and the safety of my life, that sort of stuff. Then it was home to bed and sleep. Well, sort of sleep. I was scheduled to begin filming in 2 days. In a mere 48 hours, I would be a star. Me and Chad Steele rubbing elbows, hanging out, swinging by and doing interviews with Oprah Winfrey. Eventually, I did drop off to sleep. But my dreams were so weird that I was more tired when I woke up than when I went to bed. First, there was Gertrude, the mechanical monster from Mars. As far as dreams about mechanical monsters go, she was pretty normal. Well, except for the straw hat and tap shoes. She was doing a pretty good job of singing Swanee River, considering the breathtaking Melissa Sue Averis was riding on top of her neck, waving a cowboy hat and shouting, "Yippee-i-yo-ki-yay!" Hey, I warned you it was weird. Unfortunately, there was more. Dad's boss, Mr. Feinstein, was standing on a fire truck ladder shouting through a megaphone, "Action, Mrs. Lottalips! I want action, action, action!" While super hunk Chad Steele danced a ballet on the hood of the truck with Mom and Bert and Brock. I'd never seen my brothers in tights. I hope I never have to again. All this was happening as Opera crawled around on Gertrude's back with a magnifying glass, shouting, "I found another flea! I found another flea!" And to top it all off, Wall Street had me bound in chains like a slave and was auctioning me off to the highest bidder. When I awoke, they were up to 29 cents. But that dream was nothing compared to the weirdness of the rest of my day. First, there was breakfast with Brock. "Hey, Squirt, you want to ride to school?" "What?" I said, nearly choking on my Cheerios. Bert and Brock never gave me the time of day, unless it was to yell at me for using all the toilet paper and not replacing it, or for leaning against their precious cars, or something important like that. It's not that my brothers hated me, it's just, well, since I didn't like sports, they figured I really wasn't a part of the family, so why get too attached? He cleared his throat and repeated, I said, "Do you want me to take you to school?" "Well, sure," I answered cautiously. "What's the catch?" "No catch," he shrugged. "Valerie wants to talk to you about breaking into the biz." "Biz?" I asked. "Yeah, you know, showbiz." "Oh, sure, no sweat." But it was a sweat. I had no idea what he was talking about. Then there was discussions with Dad. "Don't forget to ask if Mr. Feinstein can visit the set." He chugged down the rest of his coffee and picked up his briefcase. On his way to the door, he sidestepped my sister's backpack and tripped over our disaster-prone cat. Collision. "No prob," I called from the kitchen. "Maybe I can get Mr. Feinstein to come onto the set and meet Laura." "Don't be smart. You know how important it is for me to make a good impression if I want to get that promotion." I nodded. For years, Dad had been trying to make a good impression and get that promotion. And for years, Mr. Feinstein had been brain dead about what a great worker Dad was. Then there was socializing at school. Besides the usual gawks and winks and nods, which I was getting pretty used to, there was Wall Street. She had hired some sort of photographer guy who started firing off all sorts of pictures of me. "Wally, meet Bruce." I stuck out my hand. Flash. He took a picture. "What's going on?" I asked Wall Street. Flash. "Thought we'd get some 8x10s of you, Flash, so you can autograph them. Flash, flash. Should get a couple of bucks a piece off of them if we're lucky. Flash, flash, flash. If you don't mind, do you?" Flash. "No, of course not," I said as I stumbled up the school steps, totally blinded by the flashes. Even Reptile Man was cool. Well, as cool as a person like him can be. "Wallace," he caught me as I headed past his door. "Would it be, that is to say," he pushed his glasses back up onto his sweaty nose, "about that mechanical monster they're using at the movie? The creature who's supposed to eat you?" I looked at him, watching his twitching lips and the rivers of perspiration trickling over his brow. "Do you suppose, that is to say," he pushed his glasses up again, "would it be possible for me to take a peek at it? For scientific purposes, you understand, to see how it operates?" I couldn't believe it. Even Reptile Man was asking for favors. I broke into a smile. "No sweat, Reptile." Mr. Reptinson. I'm sure I can get you in to see it." The corners of his twitching lips turned into a thin, sweaty smile. "Thank you, Wallace." Unfortunately, there was one person who hadn't changed, and that brings us to Operations of Opera. I mean, the guy still acted like we were best friends or something. Don't get me wrong, I really felt for him, but he had to understand I was different now. It's true. At one time, I kind of liked being a dorkoid, as if I had any choice. But things changed. I had graduated. Now I was Wally McDougal, superstar. I couldn't hang out with just anybody. "Wally," he came up beside me as I headed down the hall. "Now what?" I groaned so loud that I hoped he would get the message. No luck. He was just as friendly as ever. "Reptile Man said the flea idea was cool. We can start any time." "What flea idea?" I said, acting as if he were barely there. If I treated him like scum, maybe he'd get the idea. "Our science project, remember?" "Hey, Barker," I shouted over to one of the music people. "How's it going, man?" "Awesome, awesome, little buddy. Outstandingly awesome." We traded high fives as I continued down the hall. Opera stayed glued by my side. He held up his matchbox. "I think one of the females is already starting to lay eggs," he proudly beamed. That was it. I had tried everything I knew to get through to him in a nice way, and he still wouldn't take the hint. It was time to play hardball. "Listen, Opera." I came to a stop and looked him squarely in the eyes. "Things have changed. I've got more important things on my mind, more important people to hang out with." A look of hurt started filling his eyes. It killed me, but I had to go on. "We're going to begin filming tomorrow, so I'd appreciate you not bothering me anymore." He just stared, then blinked. I really ached for him, but I pushed it aside. I had to. Otherwise, I'd fall right back into dorkoidism. I turned and headed down the hall. A couple of popular girls were just ahead. "Hey, Jill, Susie, wait up." I joined them. We all started joking and laughing. I threw a look over my shoulder. I couldn't help myself. I guess I still felt a lot for the guy. He stood all alone. When he caught me looking, he suddenly brightened. "Don't worry," he shouted. "I understand." It's about time. "I'll work on the project by myself till you're done. Then we'll get together, all right?" I looked away. Just like old times. Dorkoids forever. He held up his fist and a little finger in our secret sign. "Right, Wally?" My heart broke. I wanted to run back to him, but I couldn't. I had to do this. I had to be free of him, no matter what my heart felt. No matter what that still small voice inside me said. I turned and continued down the hall. Finally that afternoon, there was meetings with Melissa. "Hi, Wally." I spun around. There she was, in all her splendor. As usual, she was surrounded by her cloud of Melissa Sue wannabes. Two per side. They were all popping and snapping their gum in perfect unison. I knew it was my turn to say something, but at the moment, nothing came to mind. At the moment, I wasn't even sure if I had a mind. Just a whole herd of butterflies all fluttering around my stomach at the same time. I opened my mouth, hoping something would come out. Something smart. Something cool. Something to make her stand up and take notice. "Hi," I squeaked back. Well, so much for smart, cool, and taking notice. She gave me a pathetic smile. The kind you would give wounded animals alongside of the road. "Listen," she said, continuing to pop and snap her gum. "Do you think you're gonna get a chance to meet Chad Steele?" A chicken would have lied. He would have said anything to impress her. So of course I did my Kentucky Fried Chicken imitation. "Of course I know Chad." Talk about being chicken. Any minute I figured I'd start clucking and laying eggs. I felt awful. I hated lying. But the way Melissa Sue's eyes widened in excitement, I knew more was coming. Sure enough, I opened my mouth and out popped, "Oh yeah, me and Chad, we're like buds." "No way," she practically squealed. "Oh yeah, we go way back." She grabbed my arm and sort of jumped up and down. I couldn't believe it. Melissa Sue was touching me. What next? Meeting her parents? Getting engaged? Picking out houses? "Do you think, maybe you could get me a lock of his fabulous hair?" she gasped. "For you, Missy," I heard myself say, "anything." And then the most incredible thing happened. Something surprising, so wonderful that it almost made the lie worthwhile. Almost. Melissa Sue Averis was so excited that before I knew it, she gave me a quick little peck on the cheek. I was in way over my head, way over. And I was getting in deeper by the second. That's the end of chapter 4. Chapter 5 will be lights, camera, not so much action. So we'll see what happens in chapter 5 tomorrow. Have a good day, guys.